What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to talk about the latest comments that Isaiah Thomas made when he compared Kevin Durant to Michael Jordan, and basically, and I'm a play the audio, but basically, what Isaiah Thomas said that if you replace Kevin Durant on that Chicago Bull team with and take Michael Jordan off, then Kevin Durant would have he would have 6 rings, right? He could have accomplished the same things as Michael Jordan. And you don't have to be, in my opinion, you don't have to know a whole lot about basketball to know that that's just, I mean, it's not even nowhere close to being true, right? And the more Isaiah Thomas make comments about Michael Jordan, it just to me just seemed like he was really hurt with not being able to make it onto that 92 Dream Team. And everybody in the media, everybody who's speaking on it is just telling Isaiah that it's time, man, that just let it go. That's just you could something you can't do anything about. It's over with. Now, I don't know if Michael Jordan really kept Isaiah Thomas off. Michael Jordan say no. Some people say yes, right? That Mike didn't want Isaiah Thomas on there. But either way, if let's just say for the sake of argument that Michael Jordan said, he wanted Isaiah off. He wanted to really get back at Isaiah. He wanted to hurt Isaiah. And the more Isaiah and go after Mike and take these shots and stuff at Mike, the more Mike win. And so if Mike's goal was to hurt Isaiah and to make him suffer, Isaiah is the one who's helping Mike out with every time he bring up Michael Jordan and compare Michael to to this person or that person, and he tried to say that Mike is not the GOAT. Every time he says something negative about Mike and everybody knows it's not true, he hurts himself. And he's working on behalf of Michael Jordan, and he don't really, it seems like he's so angry at Michael Jordan and so resentful that he don't really understand that, that he's working on behalf of Michael Jordan. And so now with that being said, I want to play the audio. Isaiah Thomas was on the Run It Back podcast when he brought this up. And he talked, and when he talked about Kevin Durant, putting Kevin Durant on that Chicago Bull team, he just talked about scoring, right? That's all Mike brought to the game. Like, he could have scored here, he could have scored there. He don't factor in defense. He don't factor in like leadership and like that heart and that killer mentality that Michael Jordan had, right? Kevin Durant is an excellent basketball player. But even Kevin Durant would tell you he don't have that killer in him that Michael Jordan had. And so Isaiah Thomas, for him to be a professional basketball player and to know basketball as well as he just leaves so much out. And he put himself in a position where he wouldn't even be able to debate this point with somebody if they wanted to debate him, because his judgment is being clouded by the fact that he's just upset, or his resentment for Michael Jordan. So let me play the audio from what Isaiah Thomas was saying about Michael Jordan and comparing Kevin Durant to Michael Jordan.
Speaking of records, Kevin Durant passed Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. How did you feel seeing one of the current legends of the game passing up one of your rivals?
Love it. I love it because he keeps elevating the game. It goes to a standard. And I don't love it because he passed MJ. Shit, a lot of people done passed him along the way. So it ain't just like this is the first time he's been passed. And I said this to Kevin Durant.
And so you even hear the tone, like Isaiah's tone when he talked about a lot of people in past Mike. When it comes to stats, some people have passed Mike. But like basketball is not about stats. Even when Isaiah was playing himself, he wasn't worried about stats. He was worried about catching Magic and catching Bird. So like I said, it's just so obvious what he's, that every statement that he make, he got to take a dig at Michael Jordan.
And I'm gonna say this to all of you sitting on the panel. And I said to Kevin Durant, hey, if you would have played back in our era and they put you in the triple post at that mid post area and they took Michael Jordan out and you played with Pippen and you played with Kukoc and you got to run into the mid post, shit. Would he have won 6 championships? Absolutely. With Rodman and Pippen and Kukoc and DJ and Craig Hodges and all them around him, and he get to post up in the mid-range, and that ball is, targeted to him every night, and he's getting up 25, 30 attempts. Yeah, he can do the same thing.
He would not. Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant has been shown that, like, if you play him physical, like what Michael Jordan went through with the Indiana Pacers, what he went through with the New York Knicks, and those games were so physical. Then who else? Even no way Kevin Durant, and he's playing in an era where it's not even as physical as what Mike did. Kevin Durant wouldn't have one ring if he had a play back then with Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc and Hodges and all those guys. He wouldn't have one ring.
Most amazing thing about Kevin Durant is go back and ask one of your research guys to pull this data. How many shot attempts does Durant have compared to the shot attempts that Jordan had to break the record?
We got to get a research crew, first of all. That's going to be our number one thing we're going to take.
KD's definitely one of the most efficient scorers to ever play this game. So I can understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking like over 16, 17 shots a night. Very rarely you see Kevin Durant like taking 30 shots. He gives it to you, on 17, 18 shots.
So, if it was about Mike, I don't know. I've heard people say that Mike was one of the most efficient basketball players. Now, he's efficient when it comes to like his movement. Like he don't have to work hard to get his shot. He's efficient in that. But Mike Jordan was a high volume shooter, and a really good mid range shooter. And scoring is what he did. But like I said, Kevin Durant is just so much more to Michael Jordan's game that Kevin Durant don't have. Even if I'm don't even put the defensive part in it, right? Offensively, so much that Mike was just so much more. He was so much more physical when it came to being able to take a beating from his opponents. And his Mike's attitude and approach towards the game. You have Kevin Durant saying that he just want to hoop, or he don't want to take a leadership role. Mike was like, when it comes to leader, Mike was the ultimate leader, the ultimate alpha male, and you can't coast in a hostile environment. You can't be the kind of player like Kevin Durant who sometimes who don't want to take that leadership role, so you can't be that type of player in a hostile environment and expect to have success. That's why Kevin Durant hasn't won a ring without, playing with somebody like Steph Curry, or the Golden State Warriors, who they had a championship team before he came, So now, you can't make an argument like that because Kevin Durant don't have any rings outside of what he won, with Steph Curry.
That's real.
Can I want to ask you this, just it's the decades old argument, right? And Reggie Miller, this is from him. So he was on Dan Patrick's show yesterday and he was doing his GOAT rankings. And usually we all argue between MJ and LeBron, and that's kind of it. But he has MJ, Kobe, LeBron, which is why I found it interesting. And I'm wondering like what your rankings are and how many times you get asked for your rankings.
Well, I get asked a lot. And to me, I've never seen a basketball player like LeBron James. And so there's the eye test, and then now can we back it up with the numbers? And as I said last time I was on the show, he's breaking every single record that's ever been set in the game of basketball. And he's showing up in every individual category. Rebounds, points, assists, games played, baskets made. I mean, he's all over the.
And so Isiah said that LeBron James is showing up in every individual. And that's the thing, and so he makes he makes an argument to counter his points, right? He said he shows up in every individual category. Leadership is about carrying your team to victory. So, like Isiah Thomas, man, it's just obvious. I hope that somebody do an intervention, like maybe Rick Mahorn or Bill Lambier or Vinnie Johnson. What's the other guy name? Dumas and all those guys, John Sally, man, they need to do an intervention or something with Isiah Thomas, man, because something definitely wrong with him. It's just Mike won and might continue to win as long as Isiah is bringing this up, or not just bringing it up, but take shots at Mike like Mike was, and it's obvious that that Mike was that dude. Mike wanted to win. He carried, he drugged people across that finish line. Some people didn't want to go. They didn't want, you know what I mean? But they got there. And so Isiah he just make himself look really resentful, or what's the word I'm looking for? Or just like he's upset and angry, man, about Michael Jordan and what happened back in the day. He should just let it go. So that's my take on it. Y'all make sure and like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.